Hello friends, I'm George, the nice smelling gentleman. The House of Lattafa have taken the Western fragrance markets by storm in the past year or so. But it can be really hard to navigate through all of the Lattafa fragrances and all of their sub-brands. It can be really tough. Lattafa have a countless number of fragrances that are sold both under their original brand Lattafa and all of their sub-brands. So to help you with that, in today's video I've compiled a list of 12 fragrances from Lattafa and their sub-brands that I think are worthy of checking out. The first few fragrances that I'm going to show you today are going to be fragrances that are sold under the original Lattafa name, and I'll start at number 1 with the Lattafa Oud for Glory. Now this is a fragrance that got a lot of interest and a lot of hype about a year ago in the fragrance community because of its closeness to the initials Oud for Greatness. I wouldn't call this one a spot-on clone of Oud for Greatness, but it's a fragrance that's heavily inspired and quite similar to the original one. What you have in here is an woody, spicy, slightly fresh, slightly sweet fragrance that's great for wintertime usage, like late fall and wintertime usage. Performance here is very strong, projection is quite good. For me personally, this is not my favorite fragrance out there, but I cannot deny the fact that it has a unique scent profile, scent factor, and the fact that it's quite similar to the Oud for Greatness, and this cost a fraction of the price of the Oud for Greatness. At number 2 is going to be a fragrance that is sort of a Lattafa classic, or a fragrance that's quite old now. I think this was originally released back in 2014, and this one is called the Latava Ragba Oud Intense. This is somewhat similar to the first one that I showed you, but instead of that heavy, woody, spicy fragrance, what you have in here is some woods. You get also some quite a strong incense note, so it's quite smoky, and also it's quite sweet as well. You've got a caramel, sort of a sugar note in here. As I said, woody, smoky, sweet fragrance. Very strong performance, very strong projection, especially if you can get your hands on a bottle that's sort of a slightly older batch, like 2018, 19, 2020. My bottle is from 2020 batch. Very strong performance, very strong projection, quite an unisex type of a fragrance, and it's great for cold weather usage. The third fragrance, at number 3 in this video, I'll show you another fragrance that got a lot of hype about a year ago from the House of Lattafa, the Lattafa Fakar Black. Now this fragrance is a sort of a heavily inspired fragrance by the YSLY EDP scent profile, or scent DNA. What you get here is sort of the same freshness and sweetness that you get with the original Y EDP, but here it's sweeter, it's more youthful, more playful, sort of the younger brother of YSLY EDP. Performance here is sort of a slightly above average. Projection again slightly above average. Not the strongest performing fragrance out there, but it's a very pleasing, mass pleasing type of DNA. So if you like the original YSLY EDP scent profile, then the Fakar Black can be a really nice alternative on the cheap. At number 4, I'll show you one of my personal favorites from the House of Lattafa, and that one is called the Amir Alwood Intense. This is sort of an interesting, unique type of a scent profile. It's woody, smoky, sweet. That's the best and easiest way that I can describe this one. I love the bottle design. I love the juice color inside here, that ambery juice color. As I said, this is a woody fragrance, but it's a beginner-friendly oud fragrance. If you are looking to get into that oud fragrance game, I think the Amir Alwood Intense is a great start. You get a nice woody undertone. There's some smoky vibes in here, and also some sweet vibes from a sort of a burnt sugar and caramel notes in here. It's very cozy, very long lasting, strong projecting, great for cold weather usage, and I especially enjoyed this one wearing it at night. Really fantastic fragrance on the cheap. At number 5, one of my recent purchases from the House of Lattafa and their Pride line, the Altafa Silver. Now this is Lattafa's take on Bulgari's Tiger DNA. Get a very nice juicy grapefruity note in the opening, a ginger note as well in the opening that adds a bit of freshness. On the dry down you get lots of ambroxan, some sandalwood, some musk vetiver, also some ambery sweetness. It's very fresh, sweet at the same time, refreshing, great for late spring and summer type of usage. It's a complement monster getting fragrance. It's also quite similar to Afnan Turati Blue. I've really enjoyed this using this one, and I've gotten a lot of compliments with this fragrance. So if you're looking for something fresh for the summer, fresh and sweet for the summer, and you like grapefruit notes in your fragrances, then the Altafa Silver is a great choice. At number 6, let's go with one of the most hyped up fragrances last year from the house of Lattafa, the Latava Assad. Now, this is a clone of Dior Sauvage Elixir. Now, Dior Sauvage Elixir is a super popular fragrance, and it was only natural that whenever another house comes up with a fragrance that's inspired by Sauvage Elixir, it will also get a lot of hype and a lot of interest, and that's the case with the Latava Assad. Now, this is, I wouldn't call this exactly a clone of Elixir. It's sort of an inspired by type of a fragrance. It's not as fresh like with the Elixir, not as spicy as with the Elixir. This is more mellow, slightly sweeter, in my nose a bit more mature version of Sauvage Elixir, but nonetheless it's a great fragrance. Has very good performance, very good projection, price tag is very nice, especially considering how much the original costs. So if you like the original Sauvage Elixir DNA and you don't want to spend that amount of money, but you want to wear something that smells close to that one, I think the Latava Assad deserves the hype, and it's a great alternative. And let's finish off the Lattafa part of this video with what's probably been the most hyped up fragrance from the house of Lattafa, and that one is the Lattafa Camera. Now, this fragrance got a lot of hype when it was released. A lot of people tried to say that this is a clone of Kismet Angel Share, but in my mind this is not a clone, not only in my mind, but I don't think that this is a clone of Angel Share at all. What I think this is a sort of a fragrance that's vaguely inspired by Angel Share, and on its own it's a fantastic fragrance. You get a touch of a boozy note in here, but unlike with Angel Share, the boozy note is not the center of attention of this fragrance. Here it's all about the sweet notes, the cinnamon, the nutmeg, the vanilla, the tonka bean, the benzoin, a touch of spiciness, a touch of a few woody notes in here as well. It's very dense, super sweet, very long lasting, very hard projecting, another compliment monster getting fragrance. Superb performance. The only problem with this one is the fact that it got so much hype that the prices basically skyrocketed. Now, in my opinion, this on its own, as I said, is a great fragrance, but I don't think it's worth more than $50 to $60. My advice will be, don't overpay for this fragrance just to get this one. The last 5 fragrances in this video are all of them are going to be from Lattafa sub-brands. At number 8 is going to be a fragrance from the house of Art Alzafran, which is called the Latava Silver. Now, this is a fragrance that's very heavily inspired by Acqua di Gio and Acqua di Gio Profumo. To my nose, it stands somewhere in between those two fragrances. You get that sweet opening that you get with the sweet fresh opening that you get with the original Acqua di Gio, and then on the dry down you're introduced with some smokiness, some smoky vibes, but like with the Acqua di Gio Profumo, but they're not, the smoky vibes in here are not as strong as the original one. That's why I think it stands somewhere in between the Acqua di Gio and Acqua di Gio Profumo. But still, it's a great alternative to both of those two fragrances for a fraction of the price. It's super cheap. Performance here is sort of about average, but as I said, it carries such a low price tag that you can overspray this one freely without feeling any guilt. And when you finish with the bottle, you can just run and pick up a new one. The next 2 fragrances are going to be from the house of Maison Alhambra. At number 9 is going to be Maison Alhambra the Tux. This is a absolutely fantastic clone of YSL Tuxedo. Now, Lattafa didn't feel any shame when they cloned the scent profile, and they even cloned the bottle design as well. The only drawback of this fragrance is the fact that the bottle size is 90 milliliters instead of 100, but that is pretty much the only con that I can find with this fragrance. It's almost a spot-on clone of YSL Tuxedo, with pretty similar performance to the original one and pretty similar projection again with the original one. The problem with this one again is the amount of hype that it got, and again prices pretty much skyrocketed for this fragrance. At number 10 is going to be another hyped up monster from the house of Maison Alhambra, the Kismet Angel. Now this, unlike the Lattafa camera, this is a real clone of Kilian's Angel Share. Very close to the original scent. You got that strong boozy note, that cognac note in here. There's also some vanilla, some amber, some cinnamon, some caramel, some tonka bean as well. The best way and easiest way that this can be described is sweet and boozy type of fragrance. Very close to the original scent. Performance very close to the original. The complement factor and projection again very close to the original for a fraction of the price. Only one problem again with this fragrance, and that's the amount of hype that it got because how good it actually is, and because of that prices have really climbed up a lot, unfortunately. But if you're familiar with the way that Angel Share smells, if you like that DNA, if you want something similar but a lot cheaper, then Kismet Angel is your best choice. And the last two fragrances in this video are going to be from a house that's called Watania, which was new to me. I recently discovered this fragrance house and it turned out to be another Lattafa sub-brand. At number 11 is going to be the Attar Al Weasel. Now, this is a fragrance that I acquired a few weeks ago. I just did my review of this fragrance, so you can check that video out. But what this is a very nice clone of Jean Paul Gaultier's Ultra Mauve. You get the same juicy pure opening like with the original one, with a touch of mint and some lavender, some bergamot. And then on the dry down you get a very nice woody vanilla mix with that still that pure somewhere in the background. It's very sweet, probably the best clone of Jean Paul Gaultier's Ultra Mauve that I have tried, the closest one at least scent wise. It's a bit sweeter compared to the original Ultra Mauve. It's sort of like a slightly more youthful version of Ultra Mauve. Performance here is very good, projection is very good, price point very good. So if you're looking for an alternative to Ultra Mauve, if you have tried 9pm and Latava Silver and you don't think that those one are close to the original, then check the Attar Al Weasel from the house of Watania. And the last fragrance for today at number 12 is going to be one of the best clones in my collection. Now, when I got this fragrance, I was really amazed at how close this smells to the original. And I'm not joking here, I have quite a lot of clones in my collection, and this is probably maybe the closest thing to the original fragrance that I have in my collection. From the house of Watania, the Cayenne Classic. Now, what this fragrance is trying to clone is none other than Dior Homme Intense. And it's, as I said, it's a fantastic quality clone of Dior Homme Intense. You get all the same notes: lavender, iris, ambrette, pear, cedar, vetiver. Pretty much the only difference that my nose picks up between this and the original Dior Homme Intense is the fact that this carries a little bit more of a sort of a cacao chocolatey vibe compared to the original. It's slightly sweeter in the opening of the fragrance and slightly sweeter on the dry down. That's pretty much it. Other than that, it's almost like a spot-on clone of Dior Homme Intense for a fraction of the price. Not for a fraction of the price, but about 1/3 of the price of the original. Now, performance-wise, this is not as strong as Dior Homme Original, but still, Dior Homme Intense, excuse me, but still, it has a pretty strong performance. I get about 8 hours on my skin with sort of a moderate projection for the first hour and a half to 2 hours. But other than that, as I said, super high quality clone of Dior Homme Intense. If you like Dior Homme Intense and you can get your hands on the Cayenne Classic from Watania, just do it. So guys, in today's video I showed you 12 fragrances from the house of Lattafa and their sub-brands that in my opinion are worthy of checking out. I hope that you found this video interesting or entertaining. If you did, give it a like, subscribe to my channel, stay safe, and I'm gonna see you in my next video. Bye bye.